like. But I am definitely going to ask things like, I am curious. I want to hear your thoughts on, like, you said you saw a lot of high elf players with single shot. Like, I'm really surprised at that. And one of the, I forget who it was, posted and said, oh, that's because I only took them to take out monsters and stuff. But even then, like 20 points for a matchup without a monster or a high armored.
Well, we are live now. You were talking. I want to interrupt you.
Damn it. Ugh, where's my boing sound effect?
Yeah, get your sound effects up. We are live. And what we were talking about was because we've actually been doing this in like prep for this broadcast for like 30, 35 minutes, just like catching up. And then it started rambling, so we thought we would just start recording it.
That also means it's going to be amazing because we've had 30 minutes of prep.
Yeah. Minimum effort champion. What we were talking about was why a lot of elf players, this isn't just high elf players or highborn players, but dread elf players too, are not upgrading to the repeating shot.
So you saw a lot of dread elves without the repeating.
Second overall, and I played him in the last round. He took 3 bolt throwers, none of them repeating either.
Wow. See, that really, in the list that you saw with that, was there other elements that could, because obviously, like, one of the great things about the repeater is not, it's nice to have the 6 shots, and this might be downplayed, but a lot of the reason why that's good is it can support, if you can't take out chaff and win that kind of the chaff war, you got your bolt thrower that can help out with that and reliably take out at least weaker chaff, even heavy chaff. So 20 points is totally still worth it. It's nice for the flexibility, but I still don't see a reason why you wouldn't want to find the 20 points for the shot. So there's the list you saw with that. Did they have it in other means or what?
Yeah, he had like the Dread Elf player had like 2 units of like 12 or 15 repeating Exbowman and Core. So he was able to like reliably shoot chaff. And their crossbows are better because they double shots and have AP1 than like our archers. So like I could definitely see it working for him in that way. And then his level 4 is also on fire magic.
Okay.
So I understood his list, but like in our high elf list where we keep talking about how board controls everything, just being able to reliably clear stuff.
Yep.
That I couldn't imagine not taking the repeating shot right now. Did you tab over to Buckeye or was that me?
For yours, I tabbed over. It might be me.
Oh, that's cool.
Am I moving the mouse?
Try it. No, maybe it just decided we needed to move on now.
I did tab to yours though. I'm gonna go to your. Maybe it is me. Are you looking at my screen? I don't know.
No, I'm on the slideshow so everyone can read our beautiful PowerPoint.
Nice. You did good. I love that we're sorry in advance. That's a good tag, man. That's great.
We'll just say sorry in advance.
After dark. That's my favorite.
We'll also say sorry because that should say advance, not advanced. Oh boy. Great start.
Oh, here we go. Oh, my volume's too. Oh, damn it. This is just a failure. All of it's a failure.
Oh, it's a failure. We should just give up.
No more. So I just went to your here we go, man. I just went to your results page. So I'd love to ask you just generally, because people have been reading about, probably have read your snippets on your, how the games went and such. Generally speaking, what are your thoughts on Buckeyes as a tournament?
Well, I had lots of fun. It was a great time. We took 14 people from the Mid-Atlantic.
That's awesome.
And we did pretty well, I think. I took 8th overall, which is pretty fun.
That is.
Although in the day 2, I did absolutely terribly. And that's too many adverbs. Absolutely terrible. Yeah, that's way too many adverbs.
I'm seeing, your battle reports were short and succinct, and I like it. Day 1 looked awesome.
Yeah, day 1 was everything was kind of going right. I had a couple bad breaks, but I was able to recover. Like in game 3, I lost my Swordmasters 1-on-1 to a unit of Clan Rats.
You know what that means?
Some hot rolling, man.
Swordmasters suck.
Swordmasters suck. I can't roll dice. It's the sword masters.
No, you heard it here. Sword masters are terrible. We're just gonna
That is
turn
American
our back on
sarcasm.
that. That does, and that happens. That sucks. That's a bummer.
It's gonna happen. But those were like the only points I lost that game. I think that and a unit of Reavers.
Well, that was my next question. Did you win the game? Because it's okay to lose some matchups if you win the war. So
yeah, he went first in that game. He got first turn, and I had deployed everything. So he had like that list real quick. Off the top of my head was like guy on Vermin Hulk, General on Vermin Hulk, BSB on Vermin Hulk. He had 2 of the Racket Chacket Machinists, whatever.
Yeah.
And he had 3 big blocks of clan rats, 3 rattling
Yep,
guns attached
340.
to them, and then a unit of plague
25
monks.
plague monks.
Yeah.
I just went to your write up, so I see this.
Gotcha. And then he had a.
Are you still doing it at the top of your head, or?
Yeah, I'm still up top because my screen has to stay attached to the.
Oh, you're
PowerPoint.
great. Keep going, man. You got it.
2 hell pits with the toxic retaliation. 2 units of 5 gutter runners, and the guys who throw globes. They used to be called poison globe throwers. I don't know what they're called now.
Yep, globe throwers. By the way, let me just say, you did a fantastic job using the 9th Age jargon. I did not know they were called Vermin Hulk. I still would have called them like Rat Ogre. So nicely done, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to get converted.
Yeah.
So that game was he went first, and like I ranged him on everything. So, and then put my bolt throwers in cover from his gutter runners, gutter blades or whatever they're called. That was not good 9th Age jargon. Which I love going second because when you deploy correctly, you can kind of cost your opponent their first turn.
Yep.
If you can position quickly enough. So on my first turn, I shot down 2 out of the 3 rattling guns, and then I took down a hell pit with the sisters. So very, very good shooting.
Gotta ask this because again, there's people who really still hate our. How did your archers add to that in your first turn volley of destroying everything?
Well, speaking of volley, they were able to volley fire and pick off a rattling gun that was behind a unit of plague monks.
There you go.
Trying to hide them. Just volley fire over it, baby.
That one word is the reason why it still is worth it having a unit of archers.
Yeah, I mean it's just volume of shots too. When you start throwing dice around, things can happen.
Yeah.
Or good or bad. Like in game 1 against the Beast Herd player, pardon me. Like I shot like the archers at his minotaurs and did like 4 wounds. And I was like, outstanding.
Yeah,
that's gonna happen. Sisters did 6 more wounds. And then I shot my bolt throwers and did 5 wounds. So I took a unit of 10 minotaurs with a doom bolt that I had no answers for. There's no way I could take it on with anything I have. And I killed half of the unit. 15 wounds with all of my shooting.
That is insane. That's really good.
I think I did the math and I was like only 1 or 2 wounds above the average.
So, yeah, that adds up. I mean, you got to keep in mind too. Most people take 2 bolt throwers. You were taking 3. I mean, three bolt throwers. Did you?
Yeah. Took 3.
Yeah. That's what I saw. So you took 3. You got your nice fat unit of archers. And by fat, like you only need 30. 16 is a really chunky unit. That's pretty good. And then the sisters. So that's just awesome.
Yeah.
And your bow of Valoo.
No, I didn't take the great bow. I took the wizard's hat.
Okay. Couldn't remember. Yep. Yeah. That's nice. That is. Yeah, that's a sexy shooting phase against the beast herds. Yep. And your support shooting back to that Skaven or the Vermin Swarm game, really good, man. Because that's sometimes that's what your shooting is going to want to do. So turn 1, it looks like, and I'm rereading some of this, you focused on a lot of their shooting and then focused on the hell pit. Is that what you did?
Yeah, my sisters just were always shooting at hell pits.
Okay. Yep. Because the flaming.
Because my opponent even told me, he was like, "Yeah, I've played the Lion Chariot already today," and it was like, "But I killed it." And I was like, "Let me guess, he charged it into the hell pit with toxic retaliation." It was like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "See," I was like, "I'm not gonna do that."
Yeah, because you've done it before.
Because I've done it before and it doesn't go well.
Right. That's funny. Yeah. That's good. And then at the end, I'm trying to look at when. So turn 1, you did 4 wounds to help it. That's awesome. When did you? I'm guessing turn 2. Let me see. You were able to take one down.
Put
Yep.
another.
Kills the last help. But turn 2, you were able to wipe them out. Now, do you think that was a lot of terrain? Did you have struggle with getting 3 bolt throwers into it, or were you shooting through cover?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely shooting through cover at times.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, when you're like, well, am I just gonna pick some wounds off of a clan rat unit, or
Right.
try and
Yep.
get this help hit down?
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, hey, that's what you got to do. But if you can even slightly, even with those mods, you should be shooting at the other guys.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, I just read that. Swords fluff their attacks against the general. I win, but managed to lose 11 sword masters.
These clan rats.
Awesome. Oh, that's awesome. That's fun. And like what you said, I mean, it's going to happen sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, they're just gonna die, and it's
Yeah.
okay. I think I kept my sword masters around. One game.
Hmm.
Game
One game
2.
they stuck around. Is that what you said?
They made it through the whole game.
Mm.
Game
Yeah.
2 against Empire, but that's because my lion chariot collapsed his entire right flank on his own.
For less than 350 points, he's
Yeah. He took down the guy, like he had the general with the Sonstal,
yeah.
on a griffin, and he killed that, killed a unit of demigriffs, killed 3 units of knights. It's like whatever.
Man,
Just
people are
speed
calling
bumping.
for people calling nerfs for the sloops after ETC. I'm sorry. There's a priority somewhere somewhere else on someone who might need a point increase or a
Yeah, I don't
loss
think
of.
you have to get rid of any of his rules. Like he's not. If you look at him across the board, he's not that much overpowered than like other models. He's just so cheap.
Yeah.
And if he cost 400 points, I think people would be a lot more okay with it.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It's the internal balance issue. Like
Right. That's what it is
whenever.
mostly. It's like if you look at a high elf prince and you're like, okay, what do I want him to do? I want him to fight. Well, should probably put him on a lion chariot.
Well, even dude, when you points about like, hey, I want this really nice, fluffy royal huntsman on foot. He's gonna be this awesome elf with this cloak, this big axe. It's gonna be so awesome. You add up all your points, you got a cool build. You're like, yeah, that's gonna be it. And then you realize, hey, if I spend like 25 or 30 more points or something like that, I could give him an ridiculous armor save, give him extra attacks. Like, why would you ever not do that? So there's something that needs to be changed there.
And it's the other one is the like I was adding it up for this list that I'll show at the end when I'm like was tweaking my list. I was looking at putting in a High Warden of the Flame, like buff the spear block or something. And when you add up all of the points for a High Warden, he is 2 points less than the Lion Chariot Prince.
Yeah.
He's 333 points with full magic items.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
like,
if you want to put him in a unit, that's the route you go. But if you're looking for an effective army list, your points might be better spent, or unless you like really hyper focus and make your army built around that character, you might want to put him on a lion chariot.
Right. But you can have an elf with. I think I gave him the ogre blade, so he's strength 6. Then he had a reroll. He was rerolling his armor.
Yeah.
So he had 2 and the dragon mantle. I think that was the build I went for.
Mm-hmm.
He was 2 points less. Then he was 2 every rollable 4 board.
Yeah.
With divine attacks, but he was still strength 6. But he was toughness 3. With 3 wounds instead of tough 4 with 4 wounds.
Mm-hmm. And on the chariot, he's got 2 extra strength 6 attacks. I mean,
multi-wound 2. He's got 4 extra strength 5 attacks, a weapon 5, and then by the way, when he charges, he does D6 + 1 impact hits.
How many? So I'm guessing because you are just as in love with the Highborn Elves as I am, that at tournaments you kind of scope the other High Elf players out and like, what do they take?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I was hoping to get some copies of some army lists, but I couldn't see it.
So you just walked around. You couldn't see like, oh, there's totally a Prince on that line chariot, or there's a BSB on a line chariot.
I saw one guy was definitely running the Prince Online chariot. Um, and then one guy ran a Prince on the Young Dragon.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he said it did all right. It was pretty okay. And then he also had another Griffin on Griffin Commander, and then a VSB in a unit. So he said it was pretty all right. And then I know Kelly's list pretty well. And he was running the Flying Circus.
For all the Griffin lovers, Kelly uses multiple Griffin riders. Does he still? Is it still pretty like the 2 Griffin riders with the Phoenixes?
Yeah, he ran a Frost Dart, 2 Griffins, and a BSB on an Eagle.
Huh, yep. Okay, so we can protect it with the large. Yeah. So for all those Griffin lovers, he's used it a lot and he loves his list. So it's very hard hitting. You gotta have the train though. You gotta have the train for that.
Unlike my game 4.
Right. That's what came to mind. I'm like, ugh, you can get gypped in certain matchups. But
you can show up to a table with somebody with 3 cannons and not have any line of sight blocking terrain, and then you just cry.
Yeah.
You just
and that stinks. that's just no good. In your other games, how many cannons did you go against?
Well, I went against another Empire player in game 2, and he had just 1 cannon, 1 Hellblaster, 1 mortar, and the steam tank. So he had 2 cannons. But I was able to. I had a hill, so I put my Prince behind the hill.
Yep.
And on turn 1, lit everything up, lit the cannon up, killed it with I think my archers and my reavers. I took a couple pot shots with my reavers.
Reavers are unstoppable.
Unstoppable. I did 2 wounds to it with the archers, the 16 shots, and I threw 10 shots from the reavers and got the last wound. And then I put 2 more wounds on his Hellblaster with my sisters. So I'd pretty much neutered his shooting on turn 1. Oh, this was funny too. I was gonna take a picture to show you guys, but I totally forgot. I deployed everything in 1 rank on against him because of that stupid mortar.
That's my next question, man.
I did it in the tournament. I think my opponent took a picture. Tyler, if you took a picture and you ever listen to this, send me the picture because it's funny. My Spearman won by 30. Swordmaster's won by 21.
And how'd that work? How'd that work for you?
It worked great. It worked great. He only got 1 shot, even 1 shot, and he even scattered. He still killed 7 spearmen. When I had to reform because he bore down on me with all of his flying and demigriffs.
Yeah, but at least at your size, 7 doesn't completely neuter the unit, so that's good. So did you wait for those out there who want to use that strategy, which is a very good strategy, by the way? I'm just laughing because it looks comical. Did you wait till those war machines were out until reforming them into a combat block, or did you at least wait hey, this is the turn, I just got to go for it?
No, it was kind of a combination of both. I found a gap in his line of sight overlap with my Eagle on turn 2, so I could fly. I flew my Eagle so he could charge his mortar on turn 3. So on turn 2, and with how he was pushing on those units there, I realized I had to reform. If he charged, great. If he didn't charge, I was only gonna have to eat 1 shot on the mortar.
Yeah.
So maybe it scatters, maybe it misfires because the engineer wasn't around, or you know what I mean. There's a whole bunch of things that could have happened. Or he could kill 7. It's better than him killing 20.
Yes, and we've all been there. Don't be ashamed to do the one. The one. Yeah, do it. If you got to do it. Especially in tournament play, hey, if you want to save those elves, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, you can't just line up in bus formation because your movement tray looks awesome, and then just eat mortars to the face. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Did you not have? Was that the game where you didn't have terrain, or you did?
I did have terrain. Yeah.
Okay.
I hid my Prince behind the hill.
Okay, that's good.
Shot the cannon on turn 1, then it came out and collapsed the flank on turn 2.
I love it. That's just funny to hear. But I've seen it happen before. That Prince just does that, so that's great.
It just does bad things.
Have a good question for you. I think you might have answered a little, but I'd love to I'd love to hear it a little more. So one of the things you talked about with the Archmage was that you might have thought the job could have been done by 2 level 2s.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious about that because the 2 level 2s, you're not working with or you might, depending on your setup, I guess. But I'm guessing you may not take the banner of arcane power, at which point you're working at a +3 versus a +1 if you do 2 level 2s. So what were your thoughts behind, like, you feel like 2 level 2s might have been good with that or against the Archmage?
Yeah, it's just he's a lot of points. A lot of points. I was playing without a scroll, which I don't really think burned me too much.
Yeah, it looked like your phases were pretty good.
Yeah, it's just I felt like with only having +3, and comparing this with the +1, was I was usually trying to throw like 4 dice or 3 dice anyway, and the math works out kind of the same within the deviations of how many dice you need to throw, whether you're a +1 or a +3.
Okay,
Spell.
gotcha. And would you keep them both white, or would you divvy it up?
Probably still white magic. I still think white magic's the best lore available to us.
Yeah. Well, at 2 level 2s as well. I mean, that's kind of the setup. I don't always do 2 level 2s. I might do 2 and a 1. But one of those level 2s, or the level 2 at least, has banner of the with arcane lore, which is just the extra spell.
Yeah, Tome
so
of
like
lore. Yeah.
Right. So with the 2 level 2s, you're rocking 5 spells as opposed to the 4 of the Archmage, which is really good.
Right. Yeah, and I kind of think you need like about 6 spells to have a reliable phase to kind of cover all of your basics.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing was with the level 4 and the Wizard's Hat, I didn't always have 2 damaging spells. I might only have Luminous Bolts. I feel like I could at least get 2 Luminous Bolts in the right matchups. Because, yeah, there's a lot of times my opponents would be like, oh, Luminous Bolts is the only way you can hurt me? Yes. Okay, well, I'll throw all my dice at that.
What matchups are you referring to? Or are you just talking about, like, that's the spell you need to get off to finish off a chaff unit or something, or
Yeah,
something along those lines?
Dark Elves, like, he had a big Executioner block, and I was just chucking Luminous Bolts at it to try and take it down.
Okay.
So I'm going to try and stop that one. Same with, like, Empire, was, like, I'm chucking Luminous Bolts to try and whittle down a Flagellant block or something. So I had one. I got Cataclysm, the new Flames of the Phoenix off in one game, and it killed an entire unit of clan rats in 2 turns.
Did you do the boosted or the strength 3?
I did the boosted. There's strength
well,
4.
the +3, you should do the boosted. Yeah.
It just roasted clan rats. One whole unit gone.
Oh, that's really fun. That's still like what you said. Like white, white is a really good. It went through some awkward phases, but it's really good now. The casting values are where they should be. The ranges are fixed. Really good lore. Really good utility lore. I think especially if you have the shooting. Other lores might be more suited to different builds, but if you're going combine arms or have effective shooting, white just supports that even more and helps your combat blocks too. So I'm with you on there. I love there. I struggle to every now and then I'm tempted, but I've never. It's been many games since I've used anything other than white on my mages.
Yeah, it's the tokens are good. All the spells help high elves. So.
Yep. I'm there with you. Hey, this was a good question. I didn't see the answer to this too. Did your I don't think any of your matchups it came into play, but did the Flaming Banner on the Sword Masters come into play this tournament?
Did not. I did not play one regenning unit.
I mean, and the Beast Bane?
I would have gladly thrown them into a hell pit, but the hell pits died from my sisters just walloping
right
on the way in.
which is better anyway.
So that was the only regenning unit I played.
Kill count of the Beastbane, Halberd. Let's hear it.
Beastbane, he killed 3 Minotaurs, a Gortok, 1 Demigryph champion in a challenge. Yeah, I rolled awesome.
And he rolled
then
poorly
he
because
rolled
he's
poorly.
saving on. Oh, actually,
got
no, they're 2 up, aren't they?
I think he was a 1-up, but I got +1 strength off on him, so he was strength.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
And he
Gotcha.
failed. He failed 2 armor saves and
Yep.
dead, dead.
That is.
And then Skaven, the whole unit just fell on its face. I think he killed like a mechanicanist or whatever, but that was just straight up, not with the beast bane benefit. And then the other 2 games they ran off the table.
Huh.
So
Yeah, that sucks. That happens sometimes. Psychology is
sure
terrible.
will. Makes me, if I wasn't so loyal, I would be playing my Tomb Kings again just because I'm so over leadership.
They're fun. That's the one thing they either I think that's one reason they added the leadership banner in 8th, because leadership, losing is so black and white. If you lose, like, terrible terrible things happen. It potentially, like, very often loses you the game. So to make it a little easier on the lower leadership armies, they added that, but it kind of makes the higher leadership seem not as great that we apparently pay for. So one of the things I'd love ninth to go the route of, maybe if you fail, you're like pinned, or you just have to move back slightly, or various things they could do to make that a little less so tragic, because it is pretty tragic at this point. I've lost a lot of games just on spearmen fleeing and they need to be in a certain spot, or sword masters the same way. Dragon princes at 9 failing and running off a board. Ugh.
Yeah, or when you're leadership 10 with a reroll and your prince runs off the table.
Right. Which happened to you, for those who didn't catch that.
It was a real thing. A real life thing.
Yeah, that's fun.
Sure
That's one of
was.
those in tournaments where it's like, keep smiling. You can't get too negative, otherwise your opponent is just gonna be like, "Oh, this sucks that I have to pity you right now."
That's right.
Be positive. It's still a game. Still a game.
Be positive. Like, just like this, we're gonna talk about this. Be positive. The Highborn Elf lists.
Yes.
Here's what I think, and I have very weird feelings about it. Is that
you were there, so let's hear them.
That
you saw
there's way too much thought being put into these lists, like way too much analysis. It's because the ETC takes very skewed lists and with matchups in mind and roles in mind, that you could never run most of these lists in a normal tournament and expect to do well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like when people are thinking the book is so bad because these are the lists and blah 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 blah. I'm thinking, well, like, you can't. You know what I thought of today when I was getting ready to type up this PowerPoint, was trying to find a picture of Tom Brady's wife. Because do you remember after the Super Bowl, she said, like, my husband can't catch and throw the damn ball at the same time.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember
That's
that?
Funny though. That's what you were going to
use. With these lists is you need to. I think the team needs to average like 13 or 14 points a game to get the max points, like, over or around.
Yep.
So when you run lists like 5 Sky Sloops, you can get a 13 or 12 or an 11 and be fine, and you've done your job for the team.
Yeah.
They're kind of like linemen. Linemen, they're not pretty. They don't get paid the most, but they block the quarterback, which keeps your franchise alive, and you can win the game through your quarterback. Play.
Yeah, and I think there's been a couple of posters who have really written that up really well to demonstrate and show, like, why, just some of the weird dynamics that occur for better or worse in ETC meta. And what you just said with the points is a good example. Like, you basically want to play it safe with all of your points. Now, there are teams that go different strategies, and I'm not going to even claim that I'm not an ETC player, and then I'll follow it and stuff. But even people who I think follow it just enough, I think typically one of the first things they need to pick up is that each people have functions. So it's playing safe and what's your function, and typically it's either I'm made to take on a certain build that we think is going to happen, or it's, hey, I'm just going to play it safe and not give up a whole lot of points. So if you're going to do that with elves now, it just so happens that the sloop spam is actually pretty good at that.
You can do
So
Sky Sloops and Grey Wardens.
yeah, exactly. Oh, did you hear that lovely sound on my
What was
computer?
that? What was that?
That wasn't one of my sound effects. That was Outlook's reminding me of something. Every now and then it tries to log in, so
It
that's what
just
it was
it
trying to
just
do.
bounced over to my new list. I don't know why it does that. What's
It
up,
wants it
PowerPoint?
wants us to talk about that.
Yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say about it. I've been asked by a couple people what my thoughts were, and I just kind of roll
Mm,
my eyes because it's such a weird anomaly of a tournament.
mm-hmm.
That I know like the most competitive people are supposedly there, and most of the best players in the country are there, but they're doing their jobs of not giving up a whole
Mm-hmm.
bunch of points and not getting steamrolled. And that's what those
Yep.
lists are designed to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you look at kind of the registry of army lists that have been successful so far with the highborn elves, I think I think there's been one sloop spam, and this is what we were referring to earlier. I think there's been one sloop spam list that has placed decent in a singles. But it's not. I mean, you might see more popularity now, and people try it now that that you've seen this ETC. Like, oh, well, maybe that's the build to do. Um, but in the singles, all comers, I've played double sloops, and I don't know. I don't know. I just don't see how outside of the team tournament. I don't know if overall it's going to be this ultra winny list that the highborn elves have now. It's a fun list, but I don't think it's going to be. That's not the high elf meta list.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we were represented in 12 out of 24 teams, which is perfectly average.
Yeah, that is good.
There's a whole bunch of outrage about that when they thought we were only at like 11 armies, but we're actually at 12 armies because it was miscounted. So I think our book's in a great state.
Mm-hmm.
And the only
I do
problem with
too.
the ETC stuff is like some things that you would like to change, like maybe the role of Grey Wardens from shooting to close combat, or Sky Sloop, just a little bit of a point adjustment because they feel expensive. They're now not going to be able to do that because these ETC guys have totally spammed them.
Yeah, that's my one fear that I posted in one of those forums about I don't use a lot of sloops, but it feels a little expensive at over 400 points to have a
Right.
prince on a sloop. Maybe in the context of a lot, or a spam sloop list, it's not, but it doesn't feel like it's. At times I'm like, ooh, is this more of a love of mine just because I love the model and the idea of it? I think it's a really good model, but at the same time, I would argue that maybe it should come down in cost, considering there's a lion's share. It's like 100 points cheaper that steamrolls everything. So like, I'm not sure. I really hope that they don't look at these results and go, sloops are fine, leave them alone because people spam them. I think they still need tweaks, but like what you said, I'm not sure that'll happen. I
No,
think
probably
so.
not.
We'll
No.
we'll see.
Cross that bridge in November.
Yeah, I mean there are other things that take precedent over right now. Tweaking the sloop right now, so or the changing changes to the sloop, but we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, like what you said, we'll see in November.
So this is the my updated list of the combined arms approach. It's it's not super different. It's just a little bit different, I think. Um, the same prince is there because he's super good, except when he gets cannonballed or runs off the table. It's like very effective. I
Uh-huh.
then have one level 2 lore high magic with the Ring of Fire and the Tome of Arcane Lore. It's cheap. He's got 4 spells. So
Hmm.
one of them being a bounce spell, but still, I would really like to find the points and put Asfad on him too.
I was about to say ass fat on him. Oof,
Yeah,
that's a fun name.
would be pretty nasty. But
Hmm.
I got to find the points for it. So I'll keep working on that. Then I have my
Hmm.
commander BSB. With he's the Canry guy with Shadow and Alchemy, the spell scroll, and he also has the longbow. I just forgot to type it because he's going to sit in archer, so might as well give him a longbow.
2 points.
2 points. 2 points to Rasmussen. He's again naked.
He's hitting on zeros and stuff. That's great.
What's that?
Oh, well, can you hear me? Am I still coming in?
Yeah, you're still good.
Yeah, I mean, ballistic skill 6. He's still going to be hitting most of the time, which gives you 50-50 shot to wound stuff. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's fine. I mean, it's like
No.
2 points for a
Yeah,
longbow
if you can
for a
find
unit
2
that he's going to be
points,
sitting in to shoot.
Right. Yep. 2 points well spent.
Yeah, well spent indeed.
Well spent indeed.
Asfad's only 30. Why'd it go away? I don't know. It's just doing things on its own now.
Hmm.
So I gotta find 30 points. All right. Anyway, he is still naked, and a lot of the questions I got was, well, were you having a problem like keeping your BSB alive because he was naked? And it's like, well, no, because if Queensguard got touched, it was probably gonna be by something fast and nasty. Anyway, excuse me, that was weird. That would kill him regardless of what he was wearing. So I think he's fine without a save.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be in a shooting block. And
Yeah.
if it's in combat, I've done something very, very wrong.
Right. Hey, so you scrolled to just for my own, you scrolled to your list?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. It's on the PowerPoint.
All right. Yeah, it didn't upload date for me, but I saw it. That's okay.
Oh, is it still screen sharing?
I don't know. Are you reloading it?
Yeah. In case people can't see that, they need it. They need to see it.
Yeah, they're like, oh, amateurs.
Amateur. Let's see. Can you see this now?
I think it's loading. Yes, there it is.
All right, cool. We'll just keep it like this. Maybe the slideshow turned it off. Okay, core setup is identical. I love this core setup. 30 spears with war standard, 16 archers, banner musician, 2 units of 5 reavers with bows. It's effective. It's nice. It's very well rounded. Yes, I would like a 5-man scoring unit of Silverhelm just to run out and touch objectives at the end of the game, but it's not a big deal. Not missing it. Because I'd have to cut too many things to get them.
Ooh, I just realized something. Keep going over your list. I'm going to ask you about it in a bit.
Oh, no. Now I'm nervous. So then I swapped the Swordmasters for Flame Wardens with full command and a Rending Banner.
You know why? It's because they couldn't take out Clan Rats. Swordmasters suck.
They got benched. It's actually because I took out the Knights of Rima, and brought. So I've taken 2 Lion Chariots instead of the Knights.
Yeah. Yep. They work better.
To support my infantry blocks. So you know what? It could be interesting. I could drop the Rending Banner on the Flame Wardens and put Banner Becalming on them, and that might be good too.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about, well, I mean, you played this kind of list is going to kind of sit back a bit anyway, so maybe that wouldn't be too bad. And at the very minimum, even if he's not, if you do have to move up and you're not giving your +1 to someone, it still counts as channeling, so that's not the worst thing. I mean, you'd want to play with the +1, but it's not bad. That's interesting, man, because I think a couple weeks ago we actually. Well, I don't know if it was in private or on this, but I think we talked a little about should the Flaming Wardens typically need the Rending Banner. But if you're only using him to hold the line, then maybe that opens up other options and you don't need the Rending Banner. So I don't know. I think it's a playtest thing. I don't know.
Probably playtest. So we have 2 Lion Chariots because they're going to be there to support the Flame Wardens and do the actual killing while the Flame Wardens just sponge up wounds. 10 Queensguard, Banner, Musician, Longbows. I think that's the right points. It might be 180. I'm not sure. I don't know. Flame Phoenix is 160. And 3 units of Sea Guard Reapers with multi-shot. So I still have pretty nasty shooting phase. I took Alchemy on the Commander so I could have a thing to threaten steam tanks, cold one knights, things like that, early in the magic phase too. Just to chuck Searing Doom at people. It's a must spell.
So and then you can make your Yeah, and then the spears can go down. Excuse me. The flame wardens or spears can go to 4 up. That's pretty good.
Yep. And then the
Or your archers to 5 up if that's your fancy.
that's my fancy 5-up archer.
They do have they have the light armor. Thank you, Army Book Committee.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then the Flame Phoenix is the only weird thing, and that's like the 160 points I'll probably be playing with the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's huge for this kind of army though, because you kind of want to sit back, shoot more. He flame swoops, sets up for counterattack, and just use him for thunderstomp. I mean, I kind of like it.
Yeah, I do too. I was also fond in like tournaments just walking around too. The big blocks are kind of back.
Yeah.
Lots of bodies. Like those gore blocks are nasty. The halberd blocks are nasty. So just have another way just to pick on units. Flagellants too, nasty, especially 30 of them. So that would be 2d3 and 1d6. So an average of 8 and 4 die. It's not terrible.
Yeah, that's not terrible. And a lot of, I mean, I kind of like it. And it helps if you if you did want to use them for chaff, and you could always move twice too, which is nice because you have the high magic there.
And that's also why I have shadow on the BSB.
Oh, there you go. Yep, you got your 2-inch move. Perfect. Yep.
Bloop.
Yeah, that is nice. Oh. So what I was going to comment before on was that you only actually have 2 units of chaff. You've got your real chaff.
You know what I forgot to type? Because he's in there.
Boom. There you go. That was my only thing I was going to say. Ugh.
He's in there.
I don't know. Are you going to use your Phoenix like that? But cool.
So he could be. Yeah. Phoenix can be.
I mean, he could be, but you know that's not ideal. But you know, if you got the Eagle, like, good. I like it, and I like the dual. Triple chariots are great. You know, line chariots support infantry so well. They honestly make your spears so painful. So I mean, they're great for the wardens, but really they support either block exceptionally well. Yeah, I like them. And so you do have the Eagle there. You do have the Eagle, as we said?
I do have the Eagle. Yeah, he's in there.
Nice.
I'm looking at my battle scrap thing right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that, man. And I feel you on that core. I really like that. I think if you're going to do combined arms, this is one of the cores you really need to use. If people are still anxious about spears, this is the one I'd start with. I'll just try 30. You don't need the heavy armor. Heavy armor maybe makes them too expensive. I really don't think. Yeah, I don't think they need the heavy armor. I think 30 spears with a war banner. Look at that, 285. Amazing. I mean, it's really good. You got bodies with magic to support them. They get extra awesome. You know, they don't need a hold unit. I've seen some people go, well, they're going to die in however many combats. You know, a lot of elf units are like that. What you need to do is maybe hold a unit for 1 or 2 turns, or you're charging them in to break others steadfast while you also charge in, I don't know, the 3 other chariots you have, or a block of flame wardens, which is going to negate most of the damage coming at them. So spears. Try the spears if you haven't tried the spears.
Try the spears.
Yeah.
One of those things. Sing song for him.
And if you have even a fast army, put the icon of Relentless on them, and now you got a 15-inch infantry unit for 1 turn, and they can keep up. So
kind of become your island. Oh, excuse me.
What did you say about them?
I said they kind of become like an island, or like your center.
Yeah.
You can run the pick and roll offense through.
Exactly.
Sports analogy.
Love it. Yeah, man. This core, and I checked for those of you who have listened since we started this adventure. You claimed that you were the first to do that core, and that you beat me to it, and you did beat me by less than 24 hours.
Boom.
So
that's it.
So
it's over.
You got it.
Knockout.
Yeah, you got it there. So it's solid core. It's so good. Yeah.
Crushed you.
Exactly. You know, I'm trying to think. there was I think one variation, because what people can do if you wanted three of the three reaver units, just decrease the size of the archers and put in a third reaver unit. I don't think you need it, but if
Right.
people, because some people like are so obsessed with, oh, with core, we need as much reavers as possible. So if you need to do that, there you go. But I like the 16. 16 is that's a good number.
Well rounded.
Yep, very well rounded.
Well rounded indeed.
So I assume you haven't had a chance to play that list yet.
No, this was my thoughts on tweaking. I've actually been a little burnt out this week. I didn't go out for any like practice games or fun games
Mm-hmm.
because it's a long weekend. A lot
Definitely.
of prep games going into the weekend.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten a game in, I think, since last week. So I'm like, I'm jonesing. Your 5 games, I was jealous. So.
Yeah, I mean we have a 1-day tournament in like 2 weeks too.
Yeah.
So that might be the next time I play.
I'm excited about that. That'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
We good. I know some people are like, well, the 1 days they don't really count, and it's good to get more than 3 games because I think it's more match dependent because there's less.
Yeah.
3 games is obviously less than 5. Law of big numbers, you want more games, but they're still fun. You get to hang out with your buds. Even some people you don't know, maybe meet new people depending on where it's at. So I like it. It's gonna be fun. I'll be there. And so you are going to that one. It's closer to you.
Yeah, I'm definitely, well, not definitely because you never know with work, but yeah, I will
Yeah.
probably be going
That's good.
for
I'll be
sure.
working on finishing some of these sloops. Not that I'm spamming them. I need my prints done though.
Gotta spam them. Come on, scrub. EDC says that's how we're supposed to play.
I'm a noob. Such a noob.
Such a noob. Such a scrub.
I'm just not themed enough. ETC this year is just very themed. They're so fluffy this year. They want to be Lothern or whatever the new theme is going to be. They're just like very fluffy players this year.
Just all about it. All about that theme list. Come on, Power
That's
Gamer.
all. Yeah. Just like in 8th, everyone wanted to be like, either Crace with a horde of lions or like, I couldn't even think of a theme for like the Night Star or something like, because it really was Dragon Princess, but
Dragon Prince Star.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
Yeah.
well,
I'm glad you had a good tournament though. I mean, it was good results. It's a good spread. I liked seeing kind of everyone spread out. I think that again shows more.
I think there
we
was
got
7 people in the top 10, like 7 different armies in the top 10.
Yeah, again, that's really good. I mean, that's kind of what you want to see. Now, people may not be off the top of my head. I mean, you would know this. I haven't looked at the results yet, but off the top of my head, I could probably guess. I mean, was Empire there? Was the Ogres there? Were the Dwarves there?
It was. There were 3 Empires there.
Okay.
Empire took like 1, 3, and 5, I think. Yeah. 5. So Empire did really well. And then I'm just distracting you until I pull up War Score.
Not super surprised at that though. And again, I'm not. Empire. I think it's just some of their metas or some of their builds. I think they're just a little easier to use right now. Not hating on the army book. I'm just saying I think it's a little more obvious what you need to do with them than elves.
So Jake Murphy played Dread Elves. I played both 1 and 2 on day 2.
Look at that.
Ran away.
Oh wow, that's great. It shows the opponents and everything.
Yeah.
And that's
contributed
awesome.
to their overall effort.
That's nice. You put everything in then, huh?
Yeah, just gave them those wins. Good job, guys.
I love that though, by the way, that the Dread Elves came in second. That's awesome. That's really
Very cool list. Then we had Infernal Dwarves, another Empire player, and then Chad rocked the Beast Herds, Warriors of the Dark Gods, and 7th. I took 8th with Highborn.
Wow, Warriors got 7th. That's awesome too.
Yeah, and then Phil rocked out 10th with the tree list.
with his damn tree list. That's so funny.
Then you got really, if you look at the top 15, every army sneaks in except ogres, because then you go orcs, vampires, saurians. And where is our first ogre player? Demons, 16th.
Were there just not a lot of ogre players? That actually surprises me
There
that
were not a
ogres.
lot of ogre players. Yeah, not a lot of ogre players.
Maybe that's why. I don't know.
So, to all the naysayers, Highborn took better than Sylvans, Orcs, Vampires, Lizardmen, and
Mm-hmm.
Demonic Legions, and Ogre Cons. So, feeling pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I should share this next part, but I did get a little bit of a nasty PM from somebody saying that I was ruining everybody else's fall because of my high placings in tournaments.
Wait, say it again. You were ruining what?
I was like ruining our chances at getting a better book.
Okay, for that. Well,
Not gonna say who it was.
oh yeah, it's very nice of you.
Yeah,
Mm,
it's in my
I would love.
compensation
Go
box.
ahead, comment on that. That's interesting, man. That just makes me laugh.
It was. I just kind of shook my head. Like, oh boy. Oh boy.
That cracks. That's just funny. Again, like, I think it's more seeing the spread right there, 100 players. I really think it's more about people who are trying to find ways to use the book in different ways. Are just do, I think, a little better. That's all. Or people who are trying to play an 8th edition meta are just doing more poorly. So, and that's whatever. That's a nice way to say it. That really is funny because I don't think even when September comes around and then they do revisions for November, I don't think
I think it's
most of the
gonna be point costs. Yeah.
right, exactly. It's not going to be. I think overall, a lot of the spread hasn't been so crazy. This even the people who are doing. I'm trying to think. There might be one or two army lists that are underperforming to a degree right now that looks significant, but I think High Elves. The last time someone crunched the data, their win rate was
Right in the middle of the pack.
right, pretty much with like a difference in like 0.0 something. It was so the differences are so small in the in the results that if people think that there's going to be any massive changes come at least September, November, I don't think so, guys.
I think they're in for a bit of a surprise.
Right. If you're holding out for like Strength Force Spears or like Sword Masters who are hitting on 2-up with distracting or something, that's probably not going to happen. If anything, and I clearly I don't know this, but if anything, I would see maybe RT says pick one unit or one thing that gets a nice change, but other than that, it's just going to be points. That's what I'd put. If I was a betting man, that's what I would put money
on. That's your line for this weekend.
If I was a betting man, do I say that a lot?
I said that's where you're gonna place your money on that line.
Definitely. Yeah. If anything, what I'd love to see is us get a wizard conclave. That's what I would love.
Too. We're
probably
supposed to be like the most magic centered elves, and we don't have a wizard conclave.
Yeah. If we were going to get anything, that's what I would say. Hey, please give us this, because I really think that you can do that in a way that changes a unit little to none at all, because you just say the champion upgrade now gets this, so the unit itself doesn't change much. You just have the opportunity to make it pretty expensive. And on an infantry unit, you don't usually see that, and they're all combat, so it's like, is it really going to make it overpowered or anything like that? So that's what I would like to see change, but that's my long-winded 2 cents.
It would be really nice on like sword masters, and then all these people complain about them not having the right buffs. If you give them like speed of light and like enchanted blades as their 2 spells, or blessing of Amhar and enchanted blades, then that would kind of solve those problems, because you're getting +1 to hit, armor piercing, and an extra armor save just from enchanted blades. Or you can cast Amhar on themselves and they get a 5 aboard save, which helps with the durability that people are complaining about.
Yep.
or speed of light because they'll be weapon skill 9, and weapon skill 4 troops will be hitting them on 5s. So, yeah, that's just what I would like to see Swordmasters as a Wizard Conclave. And actually, I've said this before too. I would like to see our magic kind of retweaked to like old Tomb King magic, where every unit just has a bounce spell. Give us something different, something unique, and then like it represent like Flame Wardens would have like Fireball, and Grey Wardens could have Miasma from Shadow, stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
That would be cool. I think eventually, they'll probably. I think you might have said this, or I know Shade Sheriff just posted about his opinion on. I know, and I'll say it's his personal opinion. He really wanted to stress that, but that it would be cool to see the High Elves shift more towards the 9th Age Highborn Elves rather than keep them locked into the lore of the 8th. So, I mean, that would be cool. Yeah. I don't know what that all would entail, but one of the biggest things for me is, the Lion Chariots. I've always hated this. Lion Chariots, they're from Crace, very mountainous. I don't think you would have chariots.
Yeah, why would you have chariots over rough terrain like that?
Yes, for me, I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. So,
yeah.
They could change little lore things.
Yeah, just a couple little tweaks there. I mean, I think it's in general too, like this nostalgia of my units used to perform this way according to GW. Why aren't they doing that anymore? And I would love to see, like we've talked about it too, like close combat oriented skirmishing Grey Wardens would be a really cool unit. They don't have to be like crazy, like they punch things in the face and just keep rolling, but like a cool like poison paired weapon unit. I think a lot of people have like Peltis models too because I've always wanted to see that. We could probably even clean up our special infantry selection a wee bit there.
A wee bit.
Do we really need 3? I've always just thought you could call them like elite infantry and then just use your Swordmasters or Lion Guard or Flame Warden models.
Whoa, that's like, blah.
I know. People would rage, but it would clean up the book. The book is so clumsy right now.
Well, you have a lot, right? And they did do a good job trying to differentiate them more, because before it was like, which awesome elite infantry do you want? And that can only, for whatever reason, Highborn players, we don't talk enough about, and maybe it's because now we have differing roles a bit, but we've always kind of put these little, I'll call them fake roles. We've always said, Swordmasters are the blenders. Phoenix Guard, they're the tanks. They're going to sit there and grind. And then we've just kind of placed Line Guard in the middle and go, okay, they can do a little of each. even though like defensively, Lion Guard were never like, they could take the shooting and stuff, but in combat, they don't really grind any better than Swordmasters did. So, but we've kind of always done that. So I like that they're a little more different now, but we're not quite there. Lion Guard are so specialized now. I think that's why you see them a lot less than you did. They're really good at their role. That's why I love them as skirmishers rather than the block.
Skirmishing, it's so cool for them.
Yeah, and they're huntsmen. I mean, it fits. I just love it. It's great. But I hear you with like maybe their roles aren't either you have an elite infantry unit or you just differ them even more. Because right now, like the block Phoenix Guard might be too expensive, and if you're only relying on that 4-up, maybe they're not
super durable.
Maybe they don't even tank enough now. I don't know. I think that's a whole nother.
It's a whole nother dark video.
Yeah, because that's an interesting one, man. Because there's so many. You know who has a bigger problem with that? Orcs right now. I've said it on the Orc forum. I really think Iron Orcs are in this weird place because we both talked about this because Ed Bashers are so freaking good.
Yeah.
So where does it leave this supposedly other elite unit?
Right.
So, but for some reason, they talk about that and use that language a little more. High Elf players talk about it less as there's a weird problem with the High Elf infantry on which one do you block up. Right now, I think by far you're going to block up more with sword masters, and that's
Yeah, just to get
I
the
think
bodies
that's
in there.
yeah. You get the bodies and you get the reliable damage output, whereas you get low attacks. You get low attacks from the White Lions, and yeah, they
And you
can
suffer
take a
from
hit and
parry.
stuff.
You know, parry
Yeah,
just steamrolls lions because
yeah,
they lose getting reflexes. The other
right.
thing that I was also talking with a couple people about this too at Buckeye was the oh, this is a fun rabbit hole, but like there's a lot of concern about like internal balance at times when I think there doesn't need to be internal balance. Like when I was talking to a couple of the orc players was, why we're trying to make it so that you would not want to always take head bashers. And I was like, why? Why don't we just call your orc unit and core head bashers and move on? Um,
Mm.
you know what I mean? Like there doesn't
Hmm.
we don't need 19 different choices for things anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that army particularly, and I think it's mainly because the working goblin players, you want a whole lot of choice, you want a lot of theme, and that's one of the cool things in T9A that they kind of differ the races a bit more, but
Hmm.
it makes this internal balance struggle because there are players who want to go, all right, now that we have 19 different choices, we need to make them all distinct and have a role. That's
And they all have to compete
that's
with each other for
right, man. So, at some point you just have to go, hey, there's going to be a fluffy choice and a more combat oriented choice. I don't think we suffer as much, but yeah, especially if you want to block the infantry, that's going to be a little tougher.
yeah, I mean what I think we suffer from too is just there's a lot of redundancy in our choices too. Like, why can't spear and archers be the same unit entry, and then you just select spears or archers?
Yeah, well, that's what they
Yeah,
used to do with the Sea Guard in
yeah,
one of the betas. It was just, you know, oh, do you remember in beta? Oh, in beta they toyed around with archers having bows and then upgrading the longbows just for
yeah.
added customization. I
Hmm.
thought that was funky. Not that it was bad, but it was interesting to see that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, you could even say with like the elite infantry, like they're just like elite palace guard or something, and then so like do like a man eater thing where select one,
Hmm.
great weapon multi wound two, great weapon sword sworn, or halberd four port save.
Hmm. Then so in that way you still have your three choices. They're in one entry.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
trying to
know.
think.
Same thing with like Queen's Guard Grey One. It's like Path
Yeah.
of the Grey, Queen's
Hmm.
Companion. So you have
Hmm.
Strength Forward Flaming, or you have Skirmish with Poison.
Yeah.
That
Oh, I'd love them to be a little more combat. I was in the camp in beta. I wanted the Grey Wardens to be just like the shock scouts. They were the
right.
ones who yeah, they could pepper you with bows and stuff, but they're gonna wall up what they hit. They're not gonna hit as hard as sword masters, but they're gonna like divvy out a crap ton of attacks. And maybe at poison, yeah, that's great, but they're just gonna shred you to pieces if they get into combat with you. That I thought was the coolest idea because I'm just like this ambushing, borderline evil and sadistic highborn unit
Right.
that's just gonna pound the crap out of you when they touch you. I thought that was really cool.
I think in like one edition of beta they had like, or this might have been like put forward by like Axiom or something. Was they had they changed it so they were Strength 4 but Ballistic Skill 4 with two attacks based on their profile, and they were like 20 points with paired weapons. But I was all about that because you had unit L's with the pumping out like a highborn unit that could pump out 3 Strength 4 poison attacks on a small frontage.
Yeah.
No
See,
save.
I think that's just a cool idea. I would love to see that.
Yeah, me too. Especially since I kind of play that Grey Warden themed army, and I've got
Yeah.
like 40 of the models sitting there. So
Mm. They're waiting. They're all like, "It'll happen.
it's
Advocate for
gonna have one of these times we're gonna be good.
it." Right.
So, all right, well, this has been another edition of Malossar and Arhain After Dark.
After dark.
I think this is our third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually
Nicely done.
for three in a row. We got one out every week.
That's impressive. I'm nice job.
I'm impressed by us.
Yeah, I'm gonna pat you on the back.
Quality of these videos, but they're at least out there.
Right. They're so high quality though. So high quality.
So high quality.
They have PowerPoints now.
We did a PowerPoint presentation.
Right.
Well, I think last time we even showed pictures.
You're right, and I did play at least at least 2 sound effects last time. So we are just
boings.
Like,
I mean,
stairway quality. Here we go.
Right. We're climbing. That was the other thing was people at Buckeye. There's a ton of people that do YouTube stuff on there. And they were like, yeah, we really wish you would do more battle reports like you used to. And I was like, all of you people do it. I don't have to do that.
Right. Just talk about it, man. Just talk about stuff.
Let's just get drunk and talk about Ninth Age.
You know what? I would like one of these days where I'm going to schedule it where work early in the morning, and that's what we're going to do. We're just going to sit here like pouring stuff into the camera so you all know that's what we're doing.
Just drinking and
drunk. That'll be good. But then we're gonna our guard's gonna be down, and we're gonna start saying like, "This guy sent me this PM. What a douche."
Just douching it up.
Oh. Yeah, we'll keep our composure.
Yeah, not. All right. Well, y'all have a great weekend. Play lots of Warhammer or Ninth Age, and we'll see you next time.
Night. Yep.
Night.